Hello, folks. Welcome. I'm going to keep myself muted for now. Hello, Jamey.
Hi, Camille. Have you been having a good day?
Yes, it's been amazing. And we have 41 participants already with us and counting.
Great. Hello, participants. Should we give them a few minutes before we begin?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. So you all, it's the same deal for those of you joining. If you've been with us all day, you can chat to just the two of us, or you can chat to everybody. You can use the Q&A going. Hello, Shelby.
Hey, Shelby.
Jamey, I love your background. I love it.
Thank you.
Very nice.
It's peaceful and zen.
I love it.
That's how I roll. Bonjour, Isabella.
Hello, everybody.
Yes.
Really cool. So some of these folks have been tuned in since 9:30 in the morning.
Oh, troopers.
I know,
Troopers.
15-minute breaks. They're amazing.
Well done.
So as thanks, Liv.
Aww.
Liv says the Zooms have been going so smoothly. You're killing it.
Yeah.
Man. Fast. As people are tuning in, so this is the last panel of the day. We will be sending out materials next week. We're going to gather any additional things that the panelists want to share out, and then we'll email those to you. We'll resend the link to the backstage, free subscription, all of the other resources, and then we'll just keep following up as we have more information about when we're going to be able to do the free headshots and all of the more in-person things. This is, let's see, okay, so it's almost 2:45, but Jamey, just as we're getting started, I just wanted to mention that, you know, it's Center Theater Group, like so many other theaters, has been having to adapt and make some hard decisions because of COVID-19. And one of the things that we've started talking more about kind of after the initial push to just kind of get through and make those decisions has happened, the focus is shifting to self-care, because we're starting to, you know, regardless of what people's situation is with shelter at home, what their work status is, whether or not they're working right now, things are almost universally hard right now, and we know it's the same for students. So I think just personally, I'm really excited to be with you today and to be addressing this topic today. So I'm really grateful.
Thanks, Camille. I'm really glad to be here. This is my wheelhouse. Self-care is my baby, so I'm ready to share.
Okay. So everybody, I'm going to hand that over to the amazing Jamey Hood. I've known Jamey for 12 years, maybe?
Long time.
Yeah, a long time. As an actor, and then now watching her journey into also doing this work. As usual, her bio is on the website, ctgla.org/goingpro, the same one, and I'll type that there too if anyone needs that. Jamey, so I'm going to turn off my camera for now, but I'll also be looking in the chat and looking in the Q&A, and then you can just summon me when you are ready for the Q&A, and I will come back, but I'm going to hand it off to the amazing Jamey.
All right. Thank you so much, Camille. See you in a bit. Hello, everyone. Hello, fellow theater makers. This is really an honor to be here. But I don't want to talk about myself. I want to talk about you. I have this notepad. If you see me glance down, it's because I like notes. They help me stay focused. So it's time to talk about you. I think you are here because you believe and are optimistic that the theater will soon return with potent clarity and razor sharp relevance. And you want to be in the rooms where that happens, and I applaud that. There's a serious amount of optimism just by you being here today. So congratulations on that. I also believe you are here because you see the value in developing a healthy mindset and a rich inner life. And I'm into that, as you know. And then finally, I think you're here because you know with every fiber of your being that the theater arts is essential. Being a theater artist, telling stories, gathering and telling stories is essential. And it is essential to the development of the human spirit and for the evolution of the human spirit. So if anybody was feeling a little hangdog about the fact that we can't do what we do right now because of the current global concerns, I just want to speak directly to you and say the theater arts are essential. It's just too dangerous to gather right now. So that's why we have to take this pause, and we can use this pause however we need to, but I like to see it as an opportunity. But if you need to use this pause to, after today, just eat Doritos and binge watch Schitt's Creek, then fine. I have no judgment. But if you think of this time period where our entire industry is in a gap, I mean, this is unprecedented. Our entire industry is in a gap. I'm not even going to talk about the globe right now. I'm just talking about us, theater artists. Here we are in this gap. And we know there will be gathering and storytelling in the future. So what do we do in this gap? I think of it like this incredible pulling back of an arrow, right? We're pulling back. There's all of this tension, right? We're just using this gap to pull back. And when it's time to gather and tell stories again, we are going to take aim and release, right? So we're building a beautiful kind of tension right now. And I want to find ways to celebrate that. And if you can't right now, no problem. No pressure. All right. So I just wanted to put that out there, that the theater arts is absolutely essential. But while we're on pause, we're supporting players right now for the people whose jobs are essential, like nurses and doctors and grocery workers. We're supporting players, and those characters are incredibly important too. So just wanted to, if you needed bolstering, there you have it. So here we are. Go Pro, go Pro. Thank you, Center Theater Group, for organizing this and curating an amazing day for people to go pro. So why do I keep saying it like that? Because pro means professional. You are making a declaration. I am a professional. Let's talk about what that means. What is a professional? Now, we can think of a professional as someone who says, I have enough training and experience to now ask you for money to do what I do. And this is perfectly fair. You've earned it. You've worked really hard. I'm hoping for lots of paying gigs for you. All right. But I also want to shift a little bit of our perspective into what professional also could mean. Professional could also be an approach, right? Because after 25 years in the theater arts, I have not always made a living making art. I have had to have supplemental work. That's just a reality. Some of you won't, some of you will. So what does that mean? Am I only a professional when I'm getting paid to tell stories? And I'm speaking from the actor's perspective, but you will all, you know, if you're a stage manager, playwright, theater administrator, whatever your theater artistry is, just know I'm speaking from an actor's perspective, but I'm always including you too. So am I only a professional when I'm on a paid gig? And then that contract ends, and then what? Am I no longer a professional until I get the next paid gig? No, because I have declared that I am a professional. It's all about now my approach. How do I get the next gig? How do I hone my craft when I'm not doing my thing? So these are just little mindset shifts to help you so that you don't slip into a slump between gigs. You know, we're like, oh, I'm in a crisis because I was getting paid and now I'm not, right? Professionalism is more than just getting paid. Professionalism is an approach. How do you approach your craft? Like a professional. So congratulations on being here. I'm excited to see what you professionals get to do. And I hope we get to collaborate at some point. Future directors, call me. Okay, so let's talk about why I called this success and self-care. Okay, what does success have to do with self-care? Good question. Let's talk about success first. Is success something that you acquire? Am I successful when I get my AEA card or my IATSE membership? Then am I successful? Or am I successful once I book my first national tour? Or am I professional or successful once I book my first international tour? Or once I get my first Broadway gig? At what point am I successful? Right? This is a rhetorical question that you can spend some time pondering, but I think it's important to talk about success when we talk about self-care. So when I think of success, I think of a succession, right? It's a natural succession to the next step. Whatever work I've been doing, whatever preparation, whatever collaboration I've been doing is naturally leading to the next step, next succession, next succession. We're in a succession. It doesn't always mean we're climbing up. It just means we're taking the next step. So in that case, then I can forget about using these milestones as markers to measure my success, because here's where self-care comes in. Success is going to always come from inside, right? So it doesn't matter how successful you are, whether that means you finally have a long-running, headlining Broadway show, right? If that's the pinnacle of your success, you'll always be wondering what's next. What's next? I have a feeling you've already experienced this at some point in your life, whether it's been, you know, hey, I got cast as the lead in my 10th grade production of Into the Woods. And then you're like, I'm so successful. And then you're like, ooh, but what's next? I just got accepted to my college of choice. I just got this, I just got that, right? Your success measurement is always going to change. So we need to find something inside that doesn't. Okay, and so that's where the self-care comes in. And so if you were thinking I was going to give you tips about external self-care things, I hate to disappoint you. But you know, long baths, get a meditation practice, you know, rest, eat a great diet, exercise. This information is ubiquitous. You can find it absolutely everywhere. There's tons of good advice and even some bad advice out there. So that's going to be incumbent upon you to do the research. What external self-care things can I do, right? What external self-care things can I do? But I'm talking about what can we do on the inside? And that has to do with shifting here, perspective, and gaining a sense of inner fulfillment. Okay, fulfillment is something that when you have it in you and you start to bring it outward into everything you do, you're always successful, no matter what you're doing. So why not start now cultivating inner fulfillment? Cool? Okay, so my first question for you, and you're gonna write these, I guess, in the Q&A, and Camille is going to gather a few of them. And we're going to tackle those in a minute. But my first question to you is, what self-limiting belief or behavior would you like to overcome? So before you answer that question, let me talk to you about where I'm coming from with this question. So sometimes, and you may have already discovered this, it's our own thinking that is getting in the way of our success, however we've defined success. So it's the lack of self-worth, feeling less than, feeling overly competitive, or under competitive. That's in that self-worth category, right? So sometimes when we are in our own way, we block our ability to not only get the work that we should be getting, but then let's say we got the work despite the thinking, and we can't enjoy it. Oh, what a bummer. That is such a bummer. I'm telling you that from experience. Out of 25 years of being a professional theater artist, I spent a lot of them in self-doubt, just reprimanding myself for laziness, procrastination, whatever it is, whatever you can think of, I did it. And I made myself a little bit miserable. I let myself suffer in this art form. And I'm telling you, at this beautiful point in the launching of your career, that you do not have to suffer to make art. Suffering is absolutely optional. You can cultivate fulfillment and turn your artistic life into an absolute love story. Will it have peaks and valleys? Oh yes, yes it will. But you do not have to suffer to make art. So a lot of our suffering comes from mindset. A lot of our suffering comes from things that we tell ourselves. And I'm here to start just chipping away at that a little bit. You know, I only get an hour. I could do this forever. I saw that, Ellen. I'm not great at reading chats, but yes, thank you. I'm glad you can relate. So this is what we're here to do today. So the question is, what self-limiting belief or behavior would you like to overcome? So here's some examples. Are you an under-preparer? Are you hard on yourself? Do you talk yourself out of going out for jobs or parts or scholarships or grants because you've decided that they're never going to pick you? I'm not good enough. I see that, Serena. That's a big one. So go ahead and put that. Camille will gather all of these. Yes, comparing. Yes. Okay, good. So you've got this down. You are in the right place. Okay, so while you're starting to enter all of these into the chat and into the Q&A, I want to talk about our identity for a sec. So I always, in a bio or in my Instagram introduction, I always say, I am a theater artist and a Vedic meditation teacher, right? This is how I identify myself so that I can attract people who are looking for meditation teachers or people who are looking for fellow theater artists or, you know, people who want to relate to these things, right? That's the easiest thing for me to offer up. Now, of course, I am so much more than that, right? And that's not just coming from a big inflated ego, that's coming from a sense of self, right? I'm so much more than just a Vedic meditation teacher and a theater artist. So I want to talk about identity. I have this quote that I love. In case you didn't know this about me, I'm a big nerd and I love books, and I have a book club on my studio, Actors Wellness Studio. So if you want to join my book clubs, I'll tell you how before we leave today. But this book, Art and Fear, big recommendation, big game changer. Here's a quote from it. The authors are David Bayless and Ted Orland. Okay, here's the quote. Consider that if artist equals self, then when inevitably you make flawed art, you are a flawed person. And when, worse yet, you make no art, you are no person at all. Ouch, right? How many people can relate to that? If my identity is so wrapped up in my, yes, Maris, ouch is right. If my identity is so wrapped up in my artistry, then when I'm not making art, I'm a big fat nobody. Who has felt like that? It's awful. It's awful to feel that way. So, you know, you have experience now. You know that there are times when you'll have a job. In fact, you will have 3 jobs lined up, right? And you'll be feeling like $1,000,000. You'll be like, ask me what's next. I can't wait to tell you, right? But then comes the time when that contract ends and nothing is in the pike. And suddenly you fall into a major depression, right? This sucks. I have lived this. It sucks. And then 3 months later, or whatever, however long, you book that next job and you're like, woo, all right, I'm a person again. All right, I can live again. But what happened to that 3 months of your life? Oh, it's just gone. I can't tell you how many times I was like, oh, dang, I wish I had gone to visit a foreign country on those 3 months, or relaxed and just gone bike riding and enjoyed my life and free time until I booked the next job. Because the next job always comes. It always comes. So I just want to say that it's time to start extricating our identity from our artistry. This book, which I just finished, Book Club for the War of Art, big one. This is hot. If you haven't read this, get it immediately, and then let's do book club. I'm going to do it again. We just finished last night, but Pressfield, the author, talks about standing apart from the artist. So I'm just going to use myself as an example because I can't see your beautiful faces. So there's Jamey, the artist, and then there's Jamey, the whole person, right? Jamey, the whole person, employs Jamey, the artist. Jamey, the artist, works for Jamey, the whole person, right? And so when Jamey, the artist, isn't employed, Jamey, the whole person, still has a life to live, right? I say this on Actors Wellness Studio all the time, go live your life, right? Because you don't know when the next gig, or you may not know when the next gig is going to come. So why waste precious lifetime worrying about what the next gig is gonna be? Okay, so let's try a little experiment. Okay, this is not a guided meditation. That's not really what I do in terms of meditation. I teach Vedic meditation. It's also called Nishkam Karma Yoga, which is unity, that's yoga, with the least amount of effort or least action taken. And what are we unifying? Individual self to universal self, right? So we close our eyes for 20 minutes twice a day, and we make contact. Individual self makes contact with universal self, right? So what I'm about to show you is not that. And there's quite a process to learn Vedic meditation. But what I want to do is start to get you thinking about your individuality. Just for a second, think about that thing that makes you unique, that you have worked so hard to set yourself apart from others so that you are that person who can hit the high C while doing hula hoops. Or you are the set designer that is so creative that people are constantly mind blown by how you use silly string in every single one of your designs, right? So think about what makes you unique. And if you don't know, then just think about yourself in general. I see you, Robin. You know, if you don't know what sets you apart, that's okay. Just what makes you Robin? What are you good at? I'm Robin. I'm a stage manager. I just made that up. I don't know if you're a stage manager, but you know, I am this, right? Just sit with that thought for a second, and you can do this with your eyes closed or eyes open. Okay. Now, what else are you? Okay, so now we know Robin, I'm going to use you as an example. Right now, you're a stage manager, but I don't actually know what your job is as an artist. Okay, so right now, I am Robin. I'm a stage manager. Great. And I'm damn good at it, and I know it. Here's places I can improve, but mostly I'm a freaking miracle in, my space, in my territory. All right. So now I want you to think about, what else are you? Okay. All right. I am Robin, and I identify as female. Boom. You just got unity with half the population, right? You just went from Robin, the stage manager, to Robin, totally connected to half the population, right? And there are a bunch of categories in between there we skipped, I'll use me as an example. Sorry, Robin, thank you for being my helper. I'll use me as an example. I'm Jamey, and I'm a theater artist and a meditation teacher. Okay, I am Jamey, and I am a divorcee, a widow, and a stepmom. That's right, 3 different relationships. Now I have unity with all of these groups, right? Divorcees, widows, stepmoms. Okay, what else am I? What else am I? I live in Los Angeles. I'm a Los Angelina. Los Angelina, I never know what to say. All right, great. Now I'm part of a big group of people. Okay, what else? I'm Jamey, and I identify as female. All right, now I'm at half the population. What else? Okay, well, I'm Jamey, and I am a human. Great. Now I'm connected to the whole human race. Awesome. What's a higher value? What's more unity than that? I'm Jamey, and I'm a mammal. Great. Now I'm in collusion with a bunch of awesome animals on this planet. Okay, I can do better than that. I'm Jamey, and I am a living being. Now I'm connected to every single thing on this planet, right? That's awesome. I went from individual Jamey, I'm an artist, I'm a theater artist and meditation teacher, to I am unified with every living thing on the planet. There's a higher value. I'm Jamey, and I am made of stardust, right? Now we're cosmic. Okay, that's a big deal. Now zoom back into the individuality, because I'm adorable. And I'm good at what I do, right? I'm a good theater artist, and I am a good meditation teacher, right? Thank you all. I wasn't fishing, but keep them coming, all right? So I celebrate my individuality. I use it to relate to people. But when I also know that I am stardust and that we're all made of stardust, and when I am absolutely connected to everything, how can I feel less than? What is there to worry about in the gap between gigs? All right. Now, this is a big concept. This is why I teach meditation. Like I said, this is just a little tiny glimpse of what it's like to unify individuality to universality. That's why I teach meditation. It's a much deeper process than what I just shared, but this is a preview. This is what you can think about if you're feeling small or unworthy or not sure or less than. No, you are that adorable individual and cosmic at the same time. So now let's take it into practical use. So let's say you have an audition and you're nervous. Totally normal. But you're worried that the people in the room are thinking that you're not good enough, or you're thinking you're not good enough, or whatever. You really want to impress them, right? Great, fine. But remember, you have unity points with them. They are also theater artists. They also want you to be the best person for the job. They want you to succeed. They want to tell this story. Oh my gosh, you want to tell this story. It just might work out. And if it doesn't, If it's not a fit this time, that's okay, right? But they don't have anything over you, right? This is an opportunity for collaboration with fellow star stuff, right? Fellow theater makers, they're nerds just like you, theater nerds. I say that with pride. All right, so that was your little preview into the kind of meditation I teach, but it's also a practical tool that you can use anytime you're feeling less than. Find the highest value of unity and then zoom back in to your awesome individuality. Okay, Camille, I am ready for some of those self-limiting beliefs that we want to tackle.
Yeah, they're very powerful just to read. There is a whole category of them about self-image and appearance in this business. I think a lot coming from actors who are self-conscious or who feel like their appearance is not what is going to get them cast. There are a lot about comparison to other artists.
Great.
There are a lot about perfectionism and being hard on yourself and being your own worst critic. There are some about procrastination and not feeling like they are able to move themselves forward. Fear of failure.
Big one. That's a big one.
Fear-oriented self-sabotage.
Yep.
And difficulty keeping hope alive between jobs. Pop back in, folks, in that Q&A if there are some that I'm not, but I think I hit all of the ones that I got in there.
Great. Those are juicy. I won't be able to tackle all of these at this time, but I'm going to take a stab at some of them. Thank you, everybody, for your honesty and vulnerability. Thank you, Camille. These are great. This gives us a lot to work with. So what I want to do is I want to start with worst critic, because I think a lot of us can relate to that critic in there that's telling us that we aren't good enough. You know, I come from a musical theater background, and I remember I had no formal singing training, and I went into I got accepted into a conservatory, and we'd be learning music, and I was so mad at myself when I couldn't get it right. I'd just be like, oh, you know, and I would just have this jerky reaction of like, oh, I sang the wrong note, or oh, I can't get this harmony or whatever. And it was like, it was stressful, and it made my body feel bad, and it certainly didn't make my voice feel nice. And it also strained the atmosphere, right? So we've got a lot going on when our self-critic is punishing us for the very job that we are called to do, right? And that's important to remember, is that I think very few people go into this profession without feeling it as a calling, right? And we can get into that another time, but I think I want to really address this critic. So for those of you who have a critic in your head who's saying nasty things to you or putting you down, I want you to do a couple of things, okay? I want you to, maybe not in the heat of the moment, practice now while we're not performing, presumably. This is a great time to practice these things. Think of a time when your inner critic has been extremely loud and gotten in your way. And I want you to just witness what it has to say, right? You're just listening to that voice. You're not saying, no, don't talk, critic, or shut up, or leave me alone, or you're right. You know, you're not doing any of that. You are just witnessing, okay? So this is a couple-step process. So number one, witness what the critic is saying. Just listen. Okay, let's say in this particular case, it's saying, you're never going to get it right. You don't deserve to work. You don't deserve to be in this show.
They're going to find out that you're a fake. They're going to replace you with somebody better, right? Okay, we're just witnessing those thoughts. Just witnessing. Okay, great. And after you've witnessed them, I want you to see if there's an advocate in there. Is there a voice in there that is disputing the critic? And this is a question you ask yourself. This is part 2 of this process. Is there a voice in there that's saying, actually, you're perfect for this job. Actually, I know you can get this because you've gotten it before. Actually, you can relax. You just need a little bit more rehearsal, right? I want you to see if you can hear an advocate, right? This is your own personal cheerleader. And I'm telling you, every single one of us has one. It's just that the critic is so very loud, right? So someone's writing at me a message, but I can't read it right now because I'm really bad at that. So sorry. The critic is so loud that it's hard to hear that little voice in there that is, advocating for you. That's saying, actually, you can do this. There must be a voice in there that is doing that, because otherwise you'd quit. Simple as that. If the critic is that loud and saying such horrible, nasty things to you, and yet you stay in the rehearsal room, or, whether you're on whatever side of the table you're on, if you stay, then there must be a voice that's advocating for you. You just can't hear them as well, right? So now witness that behavior. If you're staying, there's an advocate. Now, how do we get the critic to quiet down and get our advocate to be a little bit more present? Well, you can jumpstart it. This would be part 3 of this process, okay? You can jumpstart the advocate by asking a simple question without derision, without any kind of meanness or confrontation. You're going to ask the critic, is that true? Whatever they just said. You don't deserve to be in this room. Is that true? Because they sure did invite me to be in this room. Okay, well, they're going to replace you. Is that true? Because nobody's come to talk to me about that. And nobody's even actually said anything about my performance. It's all been self-generated criticism by you. So I want to know, is that true? And you keep excavating the truth. And eventually your advocate is going to talk a little bit louder, right? So now you have a critic and an advocate in there, right? You have your critic and your cheerleader in there going, no, keep going. You got this. You trained for this. It's just challenging right now, right? So they're in there. Now I want you to do one more final step, because I asked you to witness. That was your first step. Now I want you to circle back and ask yourself, if I'm not the critic and I'm not the advocate, then who is the witness? If I'm not the negative voice, if I don't identify as that voice, and I don't actually identify as the advocate voice either, then who is the one witnessing? I can't tell you what wonders that's going to do for you. You're just going to have to take my word for it until you try it. And when you do, please write to me. It's a big question. You're not going to find the answer overnight. It's an ongoing question. Who is the one witnessing? And can I identify with that person rather than that pesky critic in there, rather than that lovely cheerleader who I'm so grateful for, right? Your true self, Blanca, right? It's great. We know it. Now we have to feel it, right? We have to believe it. It's so wonderful when we have a good answer like that. The witness is the true self, capital T, true self, right? And yet there's a gap between knowing the answer and living the answer. And if we keep asking, keep asking, keep asking, keep asking, we're going to narrow the gap, right? This is a lifelong process, but you have chosen a career that is a lifelong game. You are playing the long game. So you've got nothing but time to practice closing that gap, okay? I mentioned earlier Actors Wellness Studio. Camille is going to put it in the chats, I think, a link to Actors Wellness Studio. It's a Facebook page that I started to have these kinds of conversations all the time, okay? And to have nerdy book clubs and to really talk about the whole person, not just the artist, but how can we develop the whole person and keep the artist's self happy and thriving. Thank you, Camille. She just put it there in the chat. So please join Actors Wellness Studio and we will have excellent conversations like this all the time. It's fairly new and it's small right now, but if we start to build it out, if we get a big group who's curious and wants to ask questions, it's going to start to generate a lot of good, juicy conversations. Because my mission is to help my fellow theater artists enjoy their time, enjoy their artwork, enjoy getting to create. I spent too much of my career not enjoying my artistry, and that was a bummer. Now it's a love story, and I want to help you have a love story. Okay, so that was Worst Critic. I gave you a little exercise for that. Self-image and appearance. Oof. I mean, I think everybody struggles with that one, even if you're not an actor. I think we all have our things about our image and our appearance, but especially actors, you know, often we are judged on our really weird things that have nothing to do with us as a person. They're just natural physical attributes that we were either born with or not, you know? And so that can feel a little yucky, for lack of a better word. So I want you to think about your individuality again. I'm going to use that word again. And your the way you look. Just think about it. Or if you're near a mirror, go look at yourself. Okay. And I want to know if it has stopped you from acting. Period. I cannot get one acting job because of the way I look. Is that true? No. You wouldn't be here if you've never gotten an acting job. I'm talking to actors right now. Friends, please bear with me. Hopefully you can find some relevance if you are a stage manager or playwright or director or whatever your line of work is, especially because a lot of you are in a position to be working with actors or hiring actors. It's good to know that it's an incredibly vulnerable thing to feel judged on something completely, or not completely, but for the most part out of your control. So, so that said, if you can look at yourself and say, I will never get an acting job, or I have never gotten an acting job looking the way I look now, then I challenge you, is that true? And I know the answer is no, because I know you've already had acting jobs, okay? So now I want you to let go of rigid attachment to how this career is going to look. What do I mean by that? if I look a certain way, and my expectation is that I am going to play all of the ingenues, but I'm 43 years old. This is a fact. I'm talking about myself. If I'm 43 years old and I have an attachment to playing ingenue and ingenue only, and I feel like I'm not getting cast because of the way I look, I need to let go of my attachment to how this career is going to look. I get cast a lot as villainesses. Is that how you say that? Really super mean, bad people. Same, Isabella, same. All right, well, we're going to be up for the same parts then one of these days. And I had it in my head that I was the sweet ingenue. If I want to work, I need to let that go. In fact, this is an incredible opportunity to start practicing letting go. This is what we do in meditation too, right? We let go and incredible things happen. We unstress our physiology. We clear out the clutter and make space for clarity, creativity, and calm, right? This is all coming from letting go. So now I'm giving you a little tool you can use without a meditation practice, if you don't have one yet, about letting go of expectations and attachment, okay? You've made a commitment. You have declared that I'm a professional in this arena, but you do not get to decide exactly what that looks like. If I thought it was going to look like me being all of the ingenues, but I'm playing all of the villains, okay, I'm still getting work. And now I love playing the villain. Like, what could be more fun? So, no offense to you ingenues, right? But like, what I'm saying is, and this is just a very specific example, so let me get more general. Let go of how you think this is going to play out. Okay. If in your mind you've said, I'm going to get out of graduate school, or if you just got your BFA or your MFA, whatever you did, or high school, if you just graduated high school, whatever it is, whatever milestone you just reached, and you said, I declare I'm going to be a stage manager, and I'm going to work regionally for a while in my hometown, and then I'm going to book a Broadway show, and then I'm going to work nothing but Broadway for the rest of my career. That is going to set you up for a lot of disappointment. Now, that doesn't mean that can't happen. It might. Go ahead and try it, right? But if we let go of attachment to it looking like that, you might find yourself stage managing something that you never dreamed you would stage manage. You might find that you are in a whole other arena of performance that you never dreamed of. You might be stage managing concerts. I don't know. I mean, my imagination is failing me at the moment. Concerts. But you see what I'm saying is that there are a lot of ways to go forward. And if we are attached to this way and this way only, we are limiting ourselves, right? If I said I am playing ingenues and ingenues only, I would have worked maybe 5 times in the last 25 years, and then I'd be done. No more work for me, okay? So we need to open up. We're opening up, right? This is all about letting go of rigid attachment to timing, to outcomes. We're just gonna let this roll out, but that's not passive, right? We're not being passive. We're still honing our craft. We're still professional. We're still friendly. We're still adaptable. We're bringing all of that to the table. We're still cultivating inner fulfillment, but we're not on just one trajectory and one only. If I said, I will never work for a theme park at some point in my career, if I decided that I was too awesome and Broadway bound to work at a theme park, I never would have worked one of the most extraordinary jobs of my life. which was spending 8 months in Tokyo at Tokyo Disney Sea, doing a show at the theme park. One of the most enriching experiences of my life, one of the most state-of-the-art theaters I have ever had the opportunity to work on, right? If you asked 22-year-old Jamey if she thought that she should be working at Tokyo Disney theme park, she might have said, no, 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 I'm Broadway bound ingenue material. You see what I'm saying? Okay. So going back to appearance, because I know it's deeper than that. I know it's deeper than that. It's not just about getting jobs. It's about feeling beautiful, seen, feeling relevant. You don't have to change anything about your appearance to work in this industry. You absolutely don't have to. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. So as we cultivate inner fulfillment, we're also going to cultivate a little bit of self-love and acceptance, right? You know, I have very sticky outy ears. You can't see them right now. Now they're all smashed. I thought that the kids used to call me Dumbo in grade school, and I thought I'll never be taken seriously with these ears. I should get them pinned, la-di-da. Guess what? Nobody's ever mentioned my ears in this industry, period. I keep trying to tell people, no, the kids called me Dumbo in school, and I look funny and laughable. Nobody has ever said anything about my ears. I have played love interests, serious roles. I have played the whole gamut, and it's never stopped me. So I think that's enough said about a self-image and appearance, but I think this is an ongoing conversation. So do come join me on Actors Wellness Studio. I think there's a lot more to say about it, but we have just a few more minutes. So I want to see if I can conquer another one and give you a little bit more mindset tools. Did I tell you that I see myself as a little bit like a mindset chiropractor? I think you already have everything you need, right? The skeleton is in place. It just sometimes needs an adjustment. That's all. You already have everything you need. I'm just here to get you into alignment so that you can do your best work and enjoy it. So let's see if I can do one more. Oh, I love this one. Oh man, I don't know. Keeping hope alive between jobs. I'm just picking one. I want to talk about them all, but we're not going to have time. All right. This is a really excellent technique I want to share with you. I call it pulling out the lens. Okay. You know how you're watching a movie and like there's a two shot? All you see are the two actors in one scene, right? Face, 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 right? It's very close up, right? But then when you pull out the lens a little bit, you see, oh, they're in a cafe. Oh, that's nice. And then the lens pulls out a little bit more and you see that they're in Manhattan. And you're like, oh, I'm getting more of the story now, right? And then the lens pulls out a little bit more and you just get a wider and wider. Now you see which neighborhood in Manhattan. Now you see what time of year it is in Manhattan. Suddenly all of the orange and gold trees in Central Park are visible and you're like, oh, so the two people are in the Upper West Side in Manhattan in autumn. Great. I've got a lot more information now, right? So we went from a shot like this to a shot like this, right? So now I want to do that with you, but in your own life, right? So let's say you are the star of your life, which you are, by the way, right? You are the star of the movie of your life. And your contract just ended, and now it's time for a little gap. And so you're here and you're like, oh my God, I will never work again. There are no jobs coming up. It's a dead time of year. What am I going to do? You start freaking out, right? I want you to pull out the lens. Okay. And this lens is not just for space, it's also for time. Okay. I want you to see a bigger chunk of timeline, right? So we're here, job ended, no prospects in sight. I want you to pull out the lens. Okay, well, I had work here and here and here, but not here. So judging by that, I could probably scientifically guess that there will be jobs here and here and here, right? But if I'm stuck here in my immediate timeline, I start to get pretty, what's the word, short-sighted about what's possible and what has been. So the best way to do this is to pull out the lens on the timeline, okay? I found that when I started doing that, I could relax a lot more between gigs because I had all of this evidence that I keep getting work. And usually the gaps between the work were not so horrible, right? It wasn't so horrible. So if you can do that, if you can pull out the lens wide enough to look for evidence of work, then you must naturally conclude that there will be more work in the future. So now how can I spend this time in the best way possible? Again, to cultivate my own inner fulfillment. What can I do in this time to rest, to do those external self-care things we talked about, to go enrich my life by going to another country or visiting family I haven't seen in a while, right? This keeping hope alive between jobs, it can sometimes feel like we'll spend that whole time between jobs spinning our hamster wheels, throwing out bids for jobs we don't even want because we need the validation of the next job, right? With the wide lens approach, we have evidence of work, we trust that there will be more work, and we will take inspired action every day to get potential jobs, and then we'll let that go and go live our lives. All right, Camille, I think we're running out of time. Will you come back and join us and see if there's anything that you feel like we need to talk about before I go?
Let's see. I think the only other like really, really big thing that's come up a few times is people talking about external validation and the need for external validation as an artist. Do you feel like you can touch on that one? You got to a lot of the other questions.
Yeah, I can. It's a big conversation, and it's lifelong work. That's that developing the inner fulfillment. That's cultivating inner fulfillment, right? When you know who you are, and remember that first exercise we did where we got cosmic? When you start to relate to the cosmic aspect of yourself, you no longer need external validation, right? But this is a lifelong practice. So I don't need to get a job to know that I am an excellent artist. I know it. I've lived it. I have my inner fulfillment, right? So that's a big conversation. I think we can continue on Actors Wellness Studio, if that's okay with you, Camille. But I really do think it goes back to getting in touch with who that witness is, right? The one who witnesses, the advocate and the critic. Start to identify with that person, and you no longer need external validation. You have everything you need right inside. And that's a conversation we can continue forever.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And is there anything else that you want to leave folks with? This is the last workshop of the day, and we started talking about people that you hire. We moved into finding your collaborators. We moved into conflict resolution, and then started to focus on the individual with entrepreneurship. And then this intentionally is ending the day as a time to think about yourself a little bit more deeply. So is there anything that you want folks to walk away from this day with, a full day of thinking about career, thinking about future, especially in a time that might feel a little bit or a lot unstable or up in the air right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What I want to say is that you are radiant. I can't see you, but I know that as a theater artist, you radiate. Our job as artists is to gather and tell stories, right? And it forwards human evolution, right? It's evolutionary. And I know at this time it can feel like we can't do the thing that we're called to do. And I get it. I get it. I've had 2 really sweet contracts get canceled, right? Postponed. We'll say postponed. I get it. But theater is not going anywhere. So let's use this time to cultivate some inner fulfillment, to do some self-care, self-love, self-reflection, so that when it's time to release that arrow, we take aim with potent clarity. You have it. You radiate light for all to see. That's what we do on the stage, whether you are calling the cues, moving the scenery, whether you designed the costumes, or you're the one standing out there under the spot operator's light. We all do this together. What an incredible unifying experience. Something that Maharishi Mahesh Yogi said is, nothing that is against evolution lasts long, right? This time period for theater artists might feel anti-evolutionary. We can't do it. We can't forward the human spirit right now. But baby, you wait. When it's time, I mean, razor sharp relevance. I can't wait to collaborate with you and see what you make and do. So thank you so much. And thank you, Camille. Thank you, Senate Theater Group.
Thank you, Jamey. That was this could not ask for a better ending for today. And I can't wait until I can give you an actual real hug instead of a hug. Thank you, everybody who has tuned in all day. It's been amazing sharing this time with you. We will send out resources Tuesday or Wednesday from all the panelists. We'll also send out links to the workshops. We have tried to record all of them. This is our first time doing webinars via Zoom. So we're going to take a look and make sure that they can be shared out, and then we'll share them in whatever way makes sense. Oh, your messages are so kind. Thank you so much. Thank you for sticking with us as we transition to this totally different format. Please go find Jamey. When I email out everybody, I'll also share her contact information for her Facebook page there as well. Thank you all so much, and we will sign off. Oh, we're reading all your messages. They're really, really beautiful. We appreciate it. And we will say bye. We will see you all soon in real life. Okay. Bye, Jamey.
Bye. Thank you.
Buddy. Thank you.